cloud. So there we go. We are recording now to the cloud. Okay, Scott, when you're ready.
All right, awesome. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Rogowski. I'm the director of the Northern California SBDC, which stands for Small Business Development Center's Finance Center. And this is our Small Business Town Hall Disaster Relief Loan Updates webinar or event that we bring to you every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10:30 to 11:30 or 12 or however long it goes with your questions and answers. We are just starting and we already have 10 questions. So thank you very much. You guys are excited and awake on Friday. I'm excited it's Friday. I'm hoping that you're excited it's Friday. Looking forward to a great weekend. This is our 40th session and today is July 10th and we are all in this together. This is brought to you by NorCal SBDC and the Finance Center. You can go to ASKSBDC.com and watch this. This is being recorded. You can download other YouTube videos that we have. We normally do updates on PPP and EIDL every time. Today we switched it up a little bit, and going into next week, we're also going to switch it up a little bit. We are no longer going to have calls on Friday. We're only going to have calls on Mondays and Wednesdays from 10:30 to 11:30 or 12, depending on how long they go. Most of them have been going about to 11:30 or a little before. Hopefully we'll have SBA jump on today. If I'm not sure. SBA is not on, right, Sunita, the person that is on?
I don't see anyone from SBA.
Okay, so
somebody is on. They're on telephone, but I don't know who that is. I'm assuming it's SBA.
Hi, this is Carrie from SBA. Yes, I'm here. I'm having internet connectivity issues at home, so I'll be joining by phone today.
Okay. Well, good morning, Carrie. So we have SBA on the phone, which is awesome. So. Just an update, we're not going to do these anymore on Fridays. This is the last Friday, so you can celebrate with us, but we're going to continue to have them every Monday, Wednesday. We have the most updates usually on Monday and Wednesday. So we are all in this together. We're going to jump in. So quick introduction, SBDCs, we've been around 40 years. There's 1,000 centers across the country in the state of California. We cover the most 36 northern counties of the state, and that's Northern California SBDC network. We go from the Oregon border down the coast to Santa Cruz. We cover all 9 counties of the Bay Area. We go southeast to Stockton, then back up through the Oregon and then, the Nevada and the Oregon border. We are funded by SBA on the federal side, so Small Business Administration. As mentioned, we have Carrie Ellenwood on the call, and she's the interim deputy director for the Sacramento District Office in Citrus Heights. So we're excited to have her on the call for an update and then some Q&A as well. And then also we're funded by, in the state of California, we're funded by the state, by the Governor's Office of Economic Development, which is called GoBiz. And because of that funding, we come to you at no cost. We come to small business owners and organizations at no cost to do one-on-one, 100% confidentiality advising and consulting and hand-holding and helping you start, grow, expand, and survive COVID currently for this time. We also offer educational events and workshops, which we'll go over later, which are also at no cost. The Finance Center is we're a division under Northern California SBDC network. We have advisors that are all over our region, whether they're in Mendocino or Santa Cruz, Lake County, or Napa. They're all over the place. And they're here to help businesses like yourself. We're here to help as an extension of our local centers. If you have access to our local centers, please go to them first. If you're not sure where that is, we can help you. But we all work together. We're all on the same team. We're all here to help you operate, grow, survive, thrive, and work with disaster. So we specialize in nothing but helping business owners access capital. The presentation today is going to be very different. If you have been on previous calls, this is all about accessing capital outside of PPP and EIDL. But again, we will still continue to answer questions. I'm the director, Scott Rogowski. My associate director, Sunita Maharaj, is also on the call, and she is going to help me answer Q&A. And then we also have Alan Montague. He is our training director, helping us put all this together. So our agenda is that we have a disclaimer. I'll just go quickly over just a slide on local and national PPP lenders. There's a state guaranteed disaster loan, which we talked about like previous in March and April. but we didn't have all of everything put together. So we do now. We're excited about it. Talk about that. There's also a couple slides on direct city county loans. And then it goes into like something that we haven't really talked about in full detail yet. And that is what we can do for you to get you money for your business, whether you want to do a startup, expansion, acquisition, want to buy a building. Acquisition is buying businesses. And then any SBA updates, and then we'll go into Q&A. So disclaimer is that things are changing all the time. This information was correct when we put the presentation together. Things are changing all the time. EIDL and PPP. So EIDL and PPP are both back up to apply. You just have to find the right lender. EIDL, you just go to the website, SBA.gov. On the top, it'll say click here for COVID-19 relief. You click there and you can apply, which is awesome. PPP is a little different. You have to go find a lender since it's a lender loan instead of EIDL is a direct SBA loan. PPP is a lender loan. And that sunsets currently August 8th, 2020, this year. So you have from now to August 8th to apply for PPP if you have not. At this time, we do not know if you can apply for a second tranche of PPP, meaning you got PPP at the beginning and then you spent it all and now you want more. We don't know that answer yet. Hopefully we get some update next week or two. We do not know that yet. So this is open for all businesses, including 501c3s. I've been getting a lot of questions about 501c6s, if those are approved through PPP and EIDL, and I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure if Carrie does.
Yes,
Carrie?
Scott, thank you. On the EIDL loans, the 501c3 and C4 and C6 are eligible for the EIDL loans, but the 501c4 and C6 are not eligible for the Paycheck Protection Program.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much. So C6s are now available for EIDL, and C4s, C3, 4, 6 are available for EIDL, and just C3 for PPP. So thank you very much, Carrie. Okay, cool.
You're welcome.
Good stuff. I didn't know that. Okay. So we ask that you don't hesitate to apply for EIDL or Triple P, regardless of what you hear in the news, or regardless of what you hear from your friend or family or another advisor through SBDC or your coach or your CPA or whomever. We ask that you do not hesitate to apply. And also, we don't know if you're going to get approved or not. You have to apply. That's the only beholders of you getting approved or not is EIDL, SBA, and PPP is the lender. And then we have a few lenders coming forward for Main Street programs, but lending programs, but we don't have a bunch, so we're not going to talk about them. All right, cool. So you kind of went over this last time. Carrie did mention that you can go to SBA.gov and look for PPP lenders, and if you put your zip code in, you can find local lenders, which is awesome. So if you are not sure where to go, or the bank you bank with is at capacity, or they don't have any more money, or they just don't like PPP, you could go to their SBA.gov and look up the Paycheck Protection lenders. Locally in the Sacramento region, which is where I spend most of my time, I do have a contact at Banner Bank. His name is Brian Maida. You can email him. His information is here. He is, I think, one of two people at the bank actually processing these PPP loans. And he will talk to you about what it takes to get an application and go forward. If you're looking for a national PPP lender, meaning you don't want to go local for whatever reason, you could go to bluevine.com. They're the fastest and quickest application process I know about and my team has researched on. If you apply today, you could probably get a lender within a day or two. They're an aggregator, meaning they have access to thousands of lenders across the country. And then you just click there and apply, and they shop the market for you. They actually shop the country for lenders for you, for SBA, and they place them for you. So it's really cool. They do all that for you. And I'm pretty sure they don't charge for that, which is awesome. So, all right. Now we're going to go into FDC. So FDC stands for Financial Development Corporation. There's 7 in the state of California. This is the state guaranteed disaster loan. It is not, so SBA is federal. This is state. In our region, we have 2 FDCs. We have one in Sacramento called California Capital, And that is Debbie Miramoto is the CEO, and her team runs an excellent shop over there. And Sunny and I do some, we help them kind of filter some loans. So that's cool. So we have direct access for that. And then also NorCal FDC in Oakland. And there's a gentleman by the name of Chris Horton. He's on our team. He does an excellent job. And we can get you contact to him. If you're like in the Bay Area, you'd go there. If you're in Sacramento region north, you go to California Capital. They have kind of like different jurisdictions. But not to get confused for you, just reach out to us, call us. We can help you get to the right person. So with the state loan guarantee programs, we can help you find a lender, which is either an FDC or lender, but it starts with a lender. The amounts are between $5,000 and $1 million. These are for disasters. So if you got PVP and EIDL and you didn't get as much as you wanted, you can get one of these. If you got declined for EIDL or PVP, you can get one of these. It doesn't matter. Before we said you had to be declined for both. That's not the case anymore. Now you could just use this as gap financing or extended financing, or decline financing if you didn't get either or. Now this is state guarantee. It's a little bit easier than EIDL to navigate. If you got declined and you're just really frustrated with the process, you can just give us a call and we can help you find a local lender to do a state loan guarantee. This is like PVP. These loans are like PVP, meaning they're done directly from the lenders that you bank with every day. So it's easier to get the money on the street. The rates are between 4.25 and 5.25%, depending on the lender. So that's prime plus 1 to prime plus 2. The rate, those are the most common rates we've seen is 4.25 to 5.25. It's a 95% guarantee by iBank. iBank is infrastructure bank. It's run under the GoBiz Economic Development Department of the Governor's Office called GoBiz. That's iBank. I forgot to put on here the term. The terms are between 25 and 30 years, depending on the lender. I forgot to put that on there. I apologize, because that's all dependent on the lender. It's not like EIDL where it's 30 years for everyone, and if you're a for-profit, it's 3.75, and if you're a nonprofit, it's 2.75%. These loans are not like that. They're not the same for everyone. It depends on the lender. EIDL is a direct loan from SBA, so they kind of just blanketed it and made it the same for everyone across the country. These have a 6 to 12-month deferral payment, depending on the lender. You will have to pay a 2-3% FDC, which is Financial Development Corporation guarantee fee, loan fee, which can also be, you don't have to pay for it up front, but it can be encumbered into the loan, which is cool. And then you might have to pay minimal bank fees or 0 bank fees. Most lenders are not charging any fees on these. All right, so we talked about this before. We have a little bit more information than we normally do here, but we have these direct city county loans. If you know of more than what we know of here, maybe you could put it in the chat and we could save that for next time. But Sacramento City is launching a up to $25,000 per business, 100% forgiven loan. Where you do have to pay it back, but it is 100% forgiven. Actually, I don't know what that means really. If it's paid back or 100% forgiven, kind of sounds like an oxymoron there. But it's 100% forgiven, I'll just say that. And then there's the Sacramento Yolo, Placer, El Dorado, Nevada County loan, which we've gone over several times. Those are the parameters within that. Then there's this Resilience Fund. The website is resiliencefund.org. It covers parts of Nevada County, Placer County, and El Dorado counties. And then this is the new stuff, the Bay Area stuff. There's quite a few that we found in the Bay Area. There's more lenders in the Bay Area, like Opportunity Fund, which they do PVP and stuff. But these are the ones that we found that were kind of like new, that weren't before COVID, or maybe they were, but they kind of stepped up a little bit. So there's the African American Small Business Revolving Loan Fund, an Arts Loan Fund, a HUD Fund, a Resiliency Fund, Revolving Loan Fund, lots of stuff in here. And then a Southeast Asian Community Loan Fund. Oops. All right. Okay, so those are all the funds. Those are all the PVP, the EIDL, the direct county loan funds. All right, now we're going to go into what we do for you at no cost, because SBA and the state of California pay for us to do this for you at no cost. So If you want money, whether you want startup expansion, growth, buy building, acquisition, disaster money, whatever kind of monies you want, this is what we do with you, for you, and all that great stuff. We hold your hand. We're kind of like a broker, a loan agent, an accountant, a CPA, a tax person, anything you want. A loan therapist, we're here for you. No cost. We can do all this very easily, very quickly. So we're going to ask you some questions, do a quick fundability test, make sure that you are fundable. Not that you're bankable, but fundable. We'll do a credit letter of explanation if necessary. If you have under a 700 credit score, then we are going to write a little story about it and tell the lender why your credit score is under 700. We're going to collect and organize all your financials because it's exciting and fun for us. And it's actually really easy for us to do. So we'll help you fill out a personal financial statement. We'll help you collect your business and personal taxes. We'll help you collect your year-to-date income statements and balance sheets if you're in business. If you're not in business, we'll help you collect your 30-day pay stub, kind of put it in a little folder for you. We have this software called share file. It's secure. We'll help you put all this. You send it to us. We'll put it in a little link for you, and then you can send it to lenders if you want, or we can help you do that. If you need a business bank plan or expansion bank plan with projections and assumptions to tell how you're going to do those projections and why it makes sense for your business, we can do that with you as well. We can help you pre-qualify you and your business for a business loan, which is something that you can't do in a traditional marketplace. You can't just go into a bank and say, hey, I want to see if I pre-qualify for a business loan. They don't do it that way. But guess what? We do. And we have all the tools and resources and expertise to do that for you at no cost with you. We can also introduce you to lenders to help fund your business need. If you get declined from a lender, we can help you find more lenders. We have an abundance of lenders for startups, expansion, buying buildings, disaster. We know most of them. Can't say all because that we probably don't know them all. But all right, that's what we can do for you, with you at no cost. All right. So startup expansion, acquisition, financing is all pretty much the same. If it doesn't include real estate, it's all pretty much the same. If you think I said anything wrong on this webinar, or you have other ways to say it, or feedback, comments, super open door policy. Just tell us what you think or what I think I said wrong. But this is the research that I've done, Sunita's done, and our team has done. Most startup expansion acquisition loans today are SBA 7A loans. It's the most common. Don't worry what the 7A means. It's just a little code in the law, but it's 7A. So most of those are 10 years. The rates currently, depending on the lender, are between 4.5 or 4.25 and 6. You might find a little bit higher, like 7 or 8, but a lot of lenders are trying to go lower. So if you're trying to figure out, how much money you want and how much you qualify for, you could do this little equation. I helped you out here. For every $25,000 you borrow, it's roughly going to be a $300 a month payment. So if you want 25, it's $300 a month. This is what you put in your debt service to see if you can qualify for it. If you want 100 grand, you take 300 times 4, and that's $1,200 a month. Can you afford all your bills and an extra $1,200 a month? I don't know, but we can find out for you very easily. If you want $300,000, 300,000 divided by 25,000 is 12. 12 times 3 is $3,600 a month. There you go. We can help you, but that's roughly what the numbers are. It could be a little bit less, a little bit higher, depending on the rate. So 7A lending is mostly equipment and or working capital needs, which is a lot of needs. Like there's a lot of items that you can use working capital. Like it's a really large scope of a word, has a large range. Mostly it's used for staffing, hiring people, marketing, which could be digital marketing, e-commerce, inventory, cost of goods is COGS, cost of goods is COGS, rent, or improvements. It can be used for a lot of other stuff like utilities and a bunch of other stuff. But that's mostly what a 7A startup expansion acquisition is, mostly 10-year loan, mostly. All right, there you go. This is a lot of stuff on here. Probably, I don't know if I should have put it all in the center like this, but who knows? I didn't give Alan much time or any time to help me make it look pretty. So this is This is what you get. All right, it's super raw. I did this like a minute, actually 30 minutes before the call. So this is a building, land / construction loan for business, not for a home. This is all business finance. Most of these transactions are 504s, but some are 7A. It does depend on the lender. I did a scenario of 25 years because it's the best amortization schedule for you as a business to cash flow a deal. So a 504. So the 504 is it's two separate loans. And the structure's below for 504. 7A is a little different, but I'm not going to talk about 7A for buying a building. I recommend 504, but it is kind of preference. Some lenders try to sell you a 7A. I prefer 504, but we can talk about that one off if you want to go to bat about that. All right, so this is a structure. You put 10% down of the value of the building. So if it's a $500,000 building, you put 50 grand down. SBA will finance 40% of the building value. So what that means is not SBA EIDL, but SBA, it's called a debenture. How about this? One of your loans is 40% of the value, and that's an SBA loan. Current rate for 25 years is 2.41% as of July 9th. 2.41. That's below prime. It's nutty. It's actually below LIBOR. Not below LIBOR. It's actually, sorry, got a little ahead of myself. It's below Main Street loan programs rate too as well. So then the bank or the lender, it doesn't have to be a bank. It could be a credit union or another lender, is 50% of the building value. And those rates are dependent on the lender. I've seen rates as low as 3.75. There's probably some big box banks, like the top 5 banks, that are buying these. They're buying these loans, and they're probably really low, even lower than 3.75. But I've seen as low as 3.75 and as high as 5.5 today. Rates are really low. Prime is 3.25. So a 5.5 rate from a bank is prime plus 2.25. So if you do a blended rate, because you have 2 loans, so a blended rate is adding the 2 rates together and divided by 2. So if you take 2.41 plus 3.75 and you divide it by 2, it's 3.08. You take 2.41 plus 5.5 and divided by 2, it's about 4. So look at this. You could buy a building, 500 grand, between 2,400 and 2,700 a month payment, depending on your blended rate. And if your loan number is less than your rent, if you did this example all by yourself, if you don't know how, we can help you. I have a little fancy calculator. I'm sure you can Google one to figure out how to do an amortization calculation, but it's super simple. I would recommend to buy if you can buy. That way you get your landlord off your back and tell him to go kick rocks, and then you could buy your building. Look at that. But that's just me. All right. So
of
here
course,
you go.
Scott, we wouldn't want you would not necessarily want to tell your landlord to go kick rocks, because you probably have a lease agreement with them that's extending for a while, and all sorts of other issues, as we discussed in the lease negotiation webinar yesterday.
Okay, wait, real quick. So Alan might know a little bit more than me because I wasn't on that webinar, but I'll tell you this. If you're having trouble getting out of your lease and you want to buy your building, please call me or call us. I can help you with that. We can help you with that. It's not that hard, but I wasn't on the webinar. Sometimes I go a little bit a different way, and sometimes it works. So just give us a call. Money talks, I'll tell you that. All right, cool. So those are all the loans, and that's what we can do for you, with you, and we can do that as soon as you want to send us financials. We have secure links we can send you. It's pretty amazing how all this works. All right, so that was the loan. So now we're gonna go into SBA support. I know Carrie can't see the screen, but we're on the SBA support slide here. I'll just talk about the slide since Carrie can't see it, but then I'll ask Carrie if there's other updates. But if you get a 504 loan or a 7A loan, for the ones I just recommended or talked about, SBA will automatically pay your principal and interest for the first 6 months. It's not a deferral, they'll pay it for you. So essentially it's like free money, but just know that they're just going to pay your principal and interest for any 7A, 504, or microloans for 6 months. It's pretty freaking amazing. They'll do that for a loan that you take out anytime between now and September 27th. And then if you want to call Office of Disaster Assistance, ODA, there's a number right here. If you want to email them, there's a number right here. If you got declined by one of the 8 or 10 reasons of denial, you can email them at pdcrecons@sba.gov. So I'll just throw it over to Carrie, see if she has some updates.
Thank you, Scott. I don't have any updates on the numbers, but I do want to clarify that if they had a 7A 504 or microloan from March 27th, or any loan that is going to be made between now and September 27th, those 6 months of payments apply. So if you go in tomorrow and you apply with a lender for a 7A loan, all of those loan payments will be made for you for 6 months from the minute you have that loan funded, as long as that happens before September 27th. In addition to that, the SBA will pay any of your loan fees. So this is a great time. If you're in a position to grow your business and you need that type of funding, it's a good time to go about doing that. And real quickly on the questions regarding the PPP loan information, local level data that is out there on our SBA.gov website. You go to the PPP loan information and go all the way to the bottom, and you'll see links to get into that information. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Carrie. Appreciate it. Again, Carrie Ellenwood, she's the interim deputy director for the Sacramento District Office in Citrus Heights. So thanks, Carrie, for being on the call and giving us those updates. So yeah, look at that. Alan's right. There was a webinar yesterday, 7/9, that was Thursday, about this lease negotiation. Did you watch it?
I was hosting it, and yeah, it was really interesting stuff. And if you want, I can throw the link to the recording of that into the chat for anyone who's interested in that.
All right, cool. Well, good stuff. Awesome. Yeah, that'd be really cool if you could do that. All right. So there was another one yesterday for dine-in, the new dine-in experience, the reality of it all, if the restaurant you're going to is open. But that was yesterday. So going forward, Tuesday, the 14th. So we have some more how to manage your and forecast your cash flow in the COVID world, which is actually more like, trying to figure out what the 8-ball is going to say. But since we have no idea what's going to happen in all these different phases, but there is precautionary measures you could take to help manage and forecast your cash flow. So are you ready for Amazon 1 and Amazon 2? Look at that, 716, 730. If you speak Spanish or you prefer Spanish, there's a couple of Spanish-speaking ones here on next Thursday and Tuesday and the 28th. And those are awesome. We have a great team in Sacramento that does everything in Spanish that we do in English. And that's the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce's in Sacramento. Julian Canetti is the CEO. Oscar Garcia and his team of Spanish-speaking advisors can help you with any of the things that we just talked about today and going forward, and any of these other things on here, as well as their specific trainings here.
And
So,
that link there to the calendar, that's being updated with not only the stuff that the region's putting on, but all the different centers are putting on as well. You can access from that link on the SBDC events network calendar. There's a whole bunch of stuff, and most of them are webinars. You can view anybody's webinar from anywhere. So,
all right,
some great stuff.
Anywhere, like in Australia, like all over the place.
We've had people attend our webinars from literally. We've had them from Europe, from Asia, yeah, and as mostly obviously Northern California, but they are everywhere. Yeah.
All right, Alan. I'm excited that you know all that. All right, man. So thanks for keeping tabs on the world. So you can call us if you'd like at 833-ASK-SBDC. It's easier if you call us. We have about 10, 15 people on the call log. call Q, whatever you want to call it. If you leave a message, we will get back to you same day. We monitor it extremely well. Sunita does an excellent job with our team, call center team, to do that. So it's 833-ASKSBDC. 833-ASKSBDC. If you want to go to our website, it's ASKSBDC.com. If you want to email us, I don't recommend you do. I recommend you to call us. But you can email us if you want, loans@asksbdc.com. If you speak Spanish, you want to contact Oscar and his team and get somebody that speaks Spanish, you can email them at espanol@asksbdc.com. All right, look at that. We got to Q&A time. Oh my goodness, Sunita's answered 31. That's amazing. Thank you, Sunita. Tearing it up this Friday. You can tell she wants to go home early. Yeah. All right. Just kidding. We have to work all day. All right. So let's go into this. So Sunita, is there anything that you want to talk about that you saw a lot in the 30 that you clicked through?
Yeah, the question about PPP and the second round or second application to get more money. People are still asking that question. I have not seen anything come through. I don't know if Carrie has from SBA.
I have not heard anything yet, and we won't hear anything until Congress gets back together and makes that decision of whether or not they're going to do that. So as of today, we have no information on any second opportunity for the Paycheck Protection Loan Program if someone already has a loan. Thank you.
Thank you. That was one of the questions that everyone wants an answer to. Another one is in regards to the EIDL advance. I don't know if something maybe in the media has come out in regards to the advance. People want to know if they're going to be audited. There was like at least 2 people asking that question, which I've never seen that question before for the advance. Would a company get audited for the advance money?
Thank you, Sunita. There is a possibility anytime that you receive a government guaranteed loan or a government loan program that you could be audited. I believe when they sign the application for the loan, it lets them know that. And in regard to the advance, I would think it falls under the same guidelines. I haven't heard anything specific about that being pointed out, but certainly it is a possibility for small businesses. Thank you, Sunita.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's it.
All right.
You're welcome.
All right, cool. Somebody's asking, do you have access to the SBA for answering a question on extension of time to respond to the application for an EIDL loan? So Richard, I just recommend that if you received an email from SBA through EIDL, that you reply back to that person or send an email to the email that we had on here, disaster customer service at sba.gov, and put your loan number in the subject line and ask them. Fortunately, we don't really have direct access. I mean, Carrie might be able to help you one-off, but if you're asking, I don't know why you would want to extend your response to the application, the EIDL application, unless you're just not sure you want the money or not, but I wouldn't wait too long, Richard. I think you only have 30 days to grab it.
Thank you, Scott. Actually, they have 60 days to reply to that. And I would suggest if you're unsure and you have a SBA EIDL loan option out there, it won't harm you, no harm, no foul. If you take that money and return it early, there's no prepayment penalty. None of that goes on. But if you don't take that loan offer, then it would be canceled and put back into the available pool of funds for other borrowers. So if you'd like to give me a call directly, you can reach me at 916-735-1722, and we can have a conversation. But we're encouraging everyone who has an EIDL loan offer to take that and get those funds. And then if you don't need them, you certainly are able to return that with no penalty or anything like that prior to using the loan. Thanks, Scott.
You're welcome. So there's a lot of questions on like 504 and 7A. Is 504 always 25 years? Well, you know, the SBA portion of it is you could choose like 10, 15, or 20 or 25, I think, or 15. Sorry, I got the text this morning. Let's see, what can you choose? You can choose
10, 20, or 25.
Yes, thanks. You can
Right.
use 10, 20, or 25. So depending on your debt service and what you can afford, I mean, you could do a 10-year if you want. The rate's lower for a 10-year, but very, 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 very small margin of a decrease. Like 10 years, 2 point. Oh, that's weird. I don't know why 20 year is lower than 10-year, but yeah, they're right. They're all right around 2.35 to 2.41 currently, regardless if you choose 10, 20, or 25. So it's up to you what you want to do. And yes, most 7A loans are 10-year that we do. Most startup 7As are 10 years. Yes, there are 3, 5, 7, and 10. I get it. But if you want a 3-year loan, you can pay back in 3 years. Good for you. But most people can't. They need a 10-year. So that's why I talked about the most common. All right. My advisor from SBDC has been in touch with SBA as I have still not received my grant money. So it's not grant, it's an advance. So you got the loan approval, but apparently either there was an error in the bank account number or another error is not funded. They have indicated at some point they will go back and review the applications, have some issues. Is there anything I can do to progress with the $10,000 I've been slated to receive? Whew. All right. So Selena, I'm just gonna give you this phone number and you can text this phone number. And we'll see what we can do for you. I don't know. All these are case by case. All right. Can you explain what is the express loan or microloan? So I'm not going to talk about express loan. There's not a lot of lenders doing express loans right now, Miguel. It's usually like a 50% loan guarantee. And it's easier for the lenders to do it. That's what an express loan is. A microloan is any loan that's under $50,000. So just call us up, Miguel. We'll give you all the explanations you want. Thank you. Are blighted communities rule with mixed zoning eligible? Yes, everything's eligible for 504. Everything. You probably can't buy a planet or a continent with it, but you could probably buy anything. If you have not applied for EIDL and did, all right. If you,
sorry, I just answered that one.
All right. I'm in the beginning weeks of reopening after being shut down for 3.5 months. I am in the restaurant business. So far, it seems like I'm getting 1/3 of our normal business. This means that the business is losing money every day. How does this relate to PPP payoff, EIDL payoff, and possibly having to file bankruptcy? So Zara, it's case by case. We can help you with all this. I just recommend that you call us. We're not gonna be able to figure this out on the call. It's different per your business, different per your lender. EIDL payoff EIDL payoff. You have 30 years to pay off EIDL, 12 months for deferment of payment. So even if you're shut down and you stay in business, you don't have to make a payment for 12 months, and then also or 11 months. Then also filing bankruptcy. That's something so separate that we'll figure out. We can help you figure out. And then also paying off PPP, same thing. Like there's no payment for PPP until 10 months after your covered period. And that is not until March. Everybody doesn't have to pay anything until the first people don't have to pay anything until March. People that get money today don't have to pay anything until August of next year. So I wouldn't worry about it too much now, Zara, if you're still going to stay in business, about paying back your loans, because you don't need to right now. But I just call us.
And Zara, I put the lease negotiation link video back in the chat. I would advise watching that. They had a lot of great conversations about that, and also our restaurant program have a lot of specialists in that area who can help you with that stuff. So I very much would advise watching it and reaching out to Louise Dawson, our restaurant program manager, for some help in that area as well.
All right. So we answered 55 questions. We went over new material. And we somehow finished in 45 minutes. That might be a record. My payroll service told me that OSHA is involved with PPP forgiveness, and that a business has to be part of the injury and illness prevention program to be forgiven. I don't know. I'm not an OSHA specialist, Terry. I don't know who is. Is Shauna OSHA?
Shauna would know about OSHA. I've not heard, but that's a specific thing about PPP needing a requirement on PPP.
I doubt OSHA is part of PPP forgiveness. I haven't heard that. That doesn't even make any sense. OSHA should stay in their own lane. I doubt that's true, but you should call us.
And also, wouldn't that be a conversation they need to have with their lender? It's possible that their lender may have put something in their note about that, but I can't believe they would.
All right, Doug Deaver. The definition of equipment is anything that you use to run and operate your business. So a server.
I answered a question for him earlier, so they came back with another question in regards to equipment. They would like to use their idle funds to purchase equipment that's less than $50,000. Maybe Carrie needs to answer this so it comes straight from SBA.
Thank you, Sunita. I'll be happy to take that. So the idle loan proceeds can be used for any of your ongoing business expenses. So if you'd purchased a piece of equipment and you had loan payments on that equipment, you could use it for that. It's not something that you could use to pay off a debt on a piece of equipment. So if you're purchasing it straight out to keep your business going, that seems like a reasonable business expense if you're going to, ongoing have that piece of equipment. But it kind of gets a little tricky in there. So you may want to look at your loan documents that you signed and make sure that it's not depending on the value of the equipment or if they have any limit in there. And I unfortunately don't have visibility to that.
All right, thank you. So, hey, Doug, so it doesn't matter what the IRS says is equipment, because guess what? The IRS does not approve loans. Okay, so anything under $50,000 could be equipment, because that would be ridiculous if we had to spend $50,000 or more on a piece of equipment, because guess what? A computer costs like $5,000 or $2,000, and a phone costs like $500. So don't mix IRS with loans, because it's not the same, Doug.
If it seems like it's going out of the grain, if it's not, if there is a question, then it's probably not something that the client should do. But if they choose to, then, then they choose to. But from what it states, it doesn't look like it is one of them. You can't purchase outright. You can pay payments with it. So maybe that's what they can do. But definitely look at the note.
And Ravish Shankar asked, is there a dollar limit to the building loan program? I heard Scott use 500 in his example. I just use 500 because it's an easy number. You could buy a building for 100 if you want. I don't know if you're going to find one, but you might be able to. Lenders don't like to go too low on building loans or land loans. I've seen them as low as 50,000. There is no dollar limit per se. Depends. Outside of SBA, if you're buying a building, a 504, I think the dollar limit is like 12 million or 10, something like that. But depends on so no limit. I loaned my business money after 215 to keep afloat. How can I pay myself back with the idle loan funds? Well, Ian, you could pay, if it's a loan that's on your balance sheet and it's properly documented and it's a liability, then you can pay your monthly payment with your idle funds.
That's correct, Scott. But if you, let's say you just put $20,000 cash into your business and you now want to take it out with that idle loan money, that's not an appropriate use of those proceeds.
Okay, thank you. When you give telephone,
you're welcome. What was that?
Nothing. I was a little giggly about you're welcome. So Thank you. I mean, never mind. All right. So when you give telephone number to connect, can you post them or repeat the numbers so to assure that we have the telephone number correct? Sometimes said too quickly. Yeah, Alan will post the phone number and he'll put the numbers in where the letters go to make it easy for someone, because I never say that. And then,
ASKSBDC.
yeah.
Phone number is actually on the screen at this point in time as well. But if you're via phone, then of course you can't see it. But this is our direct information for the Finance Center, is the 833 ASK-SBDC. Or the
I think
email,
it's the
or in Espanol, then it can be then it's further down.
yeah, I think it's the other numbers and phone numbers they were looking for, possibly again, which were also specified, which I'm going to copy on there. So the disaster contact info, disaster customer service, and the reconsideration. I just put those into chat. And occasionally Scott gives out his own phone number, which I always think is a dangerous idea. But when he does, I'll type it in if he insists.
All right, Alan. Hey, while we're answering these questions, can you do a poll, please?
Sure. Tell me what you want in the poll.
All right, I want the question, what type of financing do you need? And I want the options to be disaster, equipment, working capital, building, or buy a business, or startup. So a lot of options.
Buy a business and startup is one?
No. So I want to know if they want disaster.
Give me a second.
All right. We're going to answer all these questions. Yolando Lupo. Just want to say thank you for your team. You're all awesome. Have been a source of great guidance, hope, and peace while we small business owners learn to navigate this crazy time. Oh, you're welcome, Yolando. I remember your name, Yolando. You chose not to put butterfly frog there this time, but you're welcome. I like butterfly frog better, but all right. Thank you. A bit random. I heard liquor licenses in Oakland were down to 10,000. Heck yeah, let's buy one. That's low. Does anyone know where it is for Santa Clara these days? Who knows, E.M. Hedrick? I don't follow liquor license in counties.
Maybe somebody knows and they'll put it in the chat.
Our restaurant program folks would know. That was one of the things that was being talked about yesterday. So reach out to Louise Dawson, so Dawson@NorCalSBDC.org. And yes, I'll put that in the chat in a second.
So Lisa Candy said hold time's 2 hours. It's probably, you're probably talking about disaster, because there's no hold times for us, but depends what time you call, Lisa. If you call at midnight, if they're there, I don't know when they're there, but, or if you call Saturday morning, call tomorrow.
Call tomorrow. Weekends are best time to call. People don't think they're open. They are open.
I have an advisor named Tim, and he texted me and told me to tell everybody that if you have a building loan, a 504 loan or a 7A loan on a building, you should look into refinancing that, because the rates are lower. The rates are lower now than they've ever been that I know of. So you could refinance your building loan if you have one, 504, 7A, conventional, it doesn't really matter. Conventional is something that's not a SBA loan or SBA backed guarantee loan. But rates are super low, and you could refinance, I think I think if you bought a building, you can refinance within 6 months, I think, something like that. So if you're 6 months into owning a building, you can refi.
Scott, there was a great question, and I was hoping we could answer it. I think you may have answered it. I didn't know the answer to this question. But if you had an idle loan and the owner of the business died, what happens to that loan?
Oh, if a idle person dies? Oh, well, the personal guarantee of the idle would go away because the person passed, but the business guarantee of the idle loan would stay. from what I know.
Carrie, do you have any insight on that one?
That sounds correct to me as well, Sunita.
Okay.
The debt for the business, if the business is still in existence, if the guarantor passes, then the debt would then be looked at for the business.
And if the
That would be
business,
my understanding.
and if the business folds with the person that the deceased, then that loan just goes away. It does not follow the family.
That's a really good question, and probably better answered by an attorney than myself.
Okay.
They're going to need to take a look at that with whoever their counsel is.
Scott, you got some weird questions going on, man. It's the same thing. I don't, whether they die or they do something to themselves to not be here anymore. I think it's the same thing, Scott. It's kind of weird, man. The loan doesn't go away, though. It goes away for the person. It doesn't go away for the business, from what I know. If you sell your business, what happens to the EIDL loan? Can you sell the loan? Can you sell the loan? Jesus. Can you sell the loan with a business, or do you need to pay it off? It just depends, Sherry. It depends on what you want to do. You can sell the loan with a business because it stays with the business. I just don't know how you get it off your personal name, but personal personal social. I don't know how you do that. So I don't know.
So Scott,
yeah.
There's a servicing for the disaster loans, and they would need to connect with the disaster servicing department and let them know that they're selling the business or whatever the transaction is, so that they could ensure that that loan then, the guarantor part would be transferred. So I would have them suggest that they go on our website and look for the Disaster Servicing Center. I can't get on there right now to answer that question, but that's where they would want to look for something like that.
Okay, so we've got 43%, so 43 out of the 120 people have voted, so that's 36% of people have voted. So a few more seconds to put your answers in. And then
all right, so we're gonna cut the call at 11:30. We're gonna look at this poll. We're gonna do a happy dance as Friday.
I just want to see the happy dance.
I know everybody wants to see it, but you know, I'm not gonna do it.
I'm not sure you do.
Yeah, I'm not sure you really do.
I'll take your word for that, Sunita. I can, you know. HIPAA rules prevent me asking you about how the therapy's going. Yeah. Having seen Scott do the happy dance. So 15% of the people, 30% of the people said the thing they were looking for, most interested in was something on working capital. 22% was the next level down, which was disaster loans. And then equal 16% for buildings or startups. 12% for buying a business, and only 2% are looking at, 4% are looking at equipment loans. Now I realized when I set this up, I did two things slightly wrong. One was I did it as a you could only choose one, and the other thing is I spelt the word might wrong, but I was rushed.
You were rushed. I was going to ask you what that word is. It's MIGT. It's like MIGT.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you speak a different language than English.
Well, I speak English and American. I am bilingual, so that's handy. All right, then. I think it's probably time for us to say happy Friday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Great weekend. We'll see everybody Monday. We'll see everybody Monday. Thank you very much.
All right, and you'll be getting.
We want to remind you that we will be back on Monday and Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And our Fridays, this is our last one, but we will see you Monday.
You will be getting a notification if you register for this that that we're being changed to Mondays and Wednesdays only, and it'll be coming out any minute now. All right. Thanks very much, folks. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.